Travel management is one of the most common tasks that we do as virtual executive assistants for our US based or Europe based clients. Clients who are hiring virtual executive assistants are usually C level executives, directors, business owners, big company owners. So, most of the time, they really do travel. Sometimes they travel for personal travel or it might be a business travel. Another reason why US based clients travel a lot is because of the geography of the US. Their landmass span across four time zones. So they really sometimes travel overnight from New York to the other end of the US, which is California. And they do have businesses all over the United States. And that's the reason why they travel a lot. A lot of reasons why clients who are hiring executive virtual assistants do travel a lot because, of course, it's the greatest form of luxury. Anybody who has the capacity to be able to travel will definitely love to travel. And that's why travel management is the number one, if not the number one task that we do almost every month for our clients. So, how do we define travel management? Travel management is researching and booking flights, hotels, car rentals, activities, restaurants, and the like. And of course, at the end of each of your booking or researching is creating the itinerary or the final travel itinerary for your clients. Before you start going online and researching for flights, hotels, resorts, restaurants, the first thing that you need to do is to get to know your clients first and what their preferences are. Okay, so how do you get to know your client or find out what their preference is? It's, of course, you have to ask questions. So here are the things that you should ask your clients before you start your travel management research. First thing you should ask and get from your client are the list of documents or valid documents that they currently have. Valid documents meaning their passports. Make sure they send you a copy. Next are all of their valid visas. If they also have their old visas or expired visas, it's great that they can send it to you also so that you can file it. Next would be a list of their valid IDs. So make sure that you have those also. All of those things are very important for you to have in handy with you all the time so that whenever you book flights for your client and you need to enter their ID numbers, you already have those things. Next thing is asking them for their preferences. First is for their flights. What airlines do they prefer? If they have frequent flyer accounts for specific airlines, ask them for the logins also. It's going to be very easy for you if they do have frequent flyer accounts because you already know what airlines they prefer. Next thing you will ask them is what airlines they don't like so that you don't waste your time sending them recommendation for those airlines that they don't prefer. Same goes for the hotel. Do they have a preferred hotel chain? May it be Marriott or Hilton. They might also have accounts on those hotels that they earn points. So make sure that you ask for access or logins to those accounts. And just like with the airlines, you know which hotels they prefer. Going back to airlines, the next thing that you have to ask them are their preferred cabins. When they travel domestic, do they want it to have an extra leg room or do they prefer airlines that have first class and business class for local travel or domestic travel? For international flights, do they want it first class, business class, or economy? Next list of preferences that you would ask them is, of course, their food allergies and cuisines that they like. So it's very important, of course, at the onset to find out what allergies they have so you can be careful whenever you're booking a restaurant for them. You can inform the restaurant that my client who made this reservation, who's coming in for this reservation, have these list of allergies. So make sure that they know all of those things. Next is the cuisine that they prefer. They might not like spicy food or they like spicy food. They don't like pizza but they like pasta. So make sure that you get to know your client when it comes to their food preferences. Now that you know your client a little bit well, especially when it comes to their travel preferences, you can already start your research. Usually, the first thing that you will book are flights or airline tickets. So, how do we research as executive virtual assistants? My go-to website is Skyscanner. Now, take note, I only use Skyscanner as a search platform and I don't book the tickets through Skyscanner. Whenever I book tickets, I always book directly on the website of the airline. Why? Because Skyscanner or third party websites like Skyscanner has a very difficult and somewhat different cancellation policy or rebooking policy compared to if you book directly with an airline. Their policies or cancellation and rebooking policy are very easy and direct to the point. Other search engines that I use for researching flights are Google Flights and Kayak. The reason why Skyscanner is my first choice because I like how user friendly it is and it's very easy to search for flights. It also has on if you're looking at your screen, it will be on the left panel, the list of preferences that you can filter out. Like you can remove airlines that your clients don't want. You can change the departure and arrival time to your specific preference. You can choose whether you want a direct flight or with stopovers. So you have control within the filters of Skyscanner so that you can make sure that you are not wasting time searching different airlines or different flights and you're just able to search within your client's preferences. Next research is for hotels. Same with airlines, I have search engines that I use, such as TripAdvisor and Booking.com. I search these two websites hand in hand all the time. I use TripAdvisor to look for hotels and check out their customer ratings, the hotel star. I look at the photos of the guests that who already stayed in that specific hotel. That's because I don't like looking at photos from the official website because sometimes they enlarge the rooms. So I want to be able to see the photos exactly from the viewer of the guest so that I know if it looks small or if it looks big, if it's clean or if it's not. So at least I am able to see from the view of a previous guest so that I can, of course, judge whether this is a hotel that my client would like, especially if they're going to a location where there are no chains of hotels that they usually go to, like Hilton or Marriott. Once I decide that the hotel is nice after I search through TripAdvisor, I go next to Booking.com and look for the hotel within Booking.com because that's where I can see the different rooms that are available in that hotel. And Booking.com also shows you the size of the hotel in square meters, and also all of the amenities within the rooms of the hotel. Booking.com also shows you in square meters the actual size of each room. Booking.com also shows you all the available amenities in that specific type of room. Like if it's air conditioned, if it's garden view, sea view, city view, if they have a kettle, a microwave, a fridge, how many beds, if they have a couch, everything is detailed in Booking.com. That's why I always search hotels hand in hand with those two websites. Again, whenever I make a booking, I book directly through the hotel's website. And most of the time, I call the hotel before I make the booking. I call them to ask them how much the room is when I book directly through them, or will I be able to book directly through booking.com if the rate is better. Sometimes booking.com will show you if it's free cancellation or not, so it's also safe to book through booking.com. But if you've been an executive assistant for a year or two, just like me, I've built relationships with hotel reservation managers, and they always give me great rates that are not available on booking.com or directly through their website. So it's very, very important you build relationships with them. And that's through giving them a call or sending them a direct email. Next thing that I research is restaurants. So whenever our clients travel, of course, they don't cook in their hotel. They always go out and try the different cuisine within the country they're going to. Even if they are in their hometown or even if they're at home, unlike us Filipinos, wherein we have help sometimes to cook food for us or we prepare our food for ourselves, our executives usually don't have time to prepare things for themselves. So they always either order out or order in, or they go out for dinner or for lunch. So, how do I search and book restaurants? Whenever I search within the US, I always use Yelp as my search engine for restaurants. Because, like TripAdvisor, they have reviews from their customers as well as photos of the food itself and the establishment. I can also search Yelp within the area of my client so I know how far it is from the starting point of where my client will be coming from. When I search outside of the US for restaurants, for example, Europe or Asia, I always use TripAdvisor because they also have great reviews or unbiased reviews through their customers as well as photos of their food. I can also see their official website and the contact information so that I can easily make a reservation. There are other two websites that I go to, which I use as resources or references. Number one is Thrill List, and the next one is Eater. This is like a website blog wherein they sometimes give reviews as to what the top restaurants is, top top restaurant is for a specific country or a specific area. They also have blogs with if there is a new restaurant in town. So these two websites are very great resources to check out what's happening within the area. Next thing that I book for my client is activities. So you have to get to know your client first before you start your research for activities. You have to find out if your client is an adventurer type of client and they like to go scuba diving or kayaking or skydiving so that you can book those specific activities for them. With my client is more of the museum garden type of a person. So I always book them like walks, museums, gardens, places that they can check out. They're not really the adrenaline rush type of clients. So they're very, very relaxed. They enjoy more looking in the culture of each of the country by going to museums. Another important thing that you should consider before looking for activities is that if your client has kids, always ask them if their kids will be joining them so that the activities that you will be looking for are kid friendly. Of course, ask them what the age of their kid is so that you can make sure that the kid can definitely enjoy or the kid is definitely allowed to join them in those activities. Now, where do I search for activities? I always use Viator. That's because this is where I can actually book tickets directly to in advance prior to my client going there. And the thing I love about Viator also is they offer skip the line tickets wherein you don't have to, like what it says, you don't have to line up already in the ticket booth. A person will already give you access and assist you during the day if you want to go to a museum or in a landmark. Next website that I use again is TripAdvisor. They also have skip the lines and a lot of different activities that you can book from. My go-to website is always Viator. If I don't see anything nice on Viator, that's when I check out TripAdvisor as well. Another thing that I do when I research for activities is look at YouTube vlogs from vloggers because they actually show how a specific activity really looks like. They give an actual review or an unbiased review if it's really an amazing place to go to or not. So YouTube vlogs really help me a lot in terms of creating my client's itinerary. Next thing that I look for my client are car rentals or transfers. So car rentals, of course, is something that they can use when they're traveling, like their own car. If they go to Europe or they want to go cross country and they want to use a rental, then that's where car rentals come from. The next one is transfers. So these are like Ubers or Grab car where they can pick you up from the airport and bring you to your hotel. That's because some countries don't have Uber or Grab like applications, so it's better to book transfers. Transfers are also uh it's like a VIP service, especially if they're picking you up at the airport. Sometimes they have drivers who's going to meet you at immigration, that you can actually skip immigration lines, and then they will carry your bags for you and then bring you to the hotel. So it's very, very convenient, especially if it's a big group. Sometimes you can rent a van or a small shuttle bus. For car rentals, my go-to vendor is Hertz. That's because Hertz has a lot of garage all over the world and they also have very nice cars. That's why they're always my go-to. It's also very easy to make a booking and cancel via Hertz. And they have amazing customer service. A lot of whenever I call Hertz customer service to make adjustments in the reservation or the pickup and drop off or make a cancellation, I always talk to a Filipino. So I think their call center is here in the Philippines. So it's very, very easy to talk to them. But they are not a 24/7 call center. So you have to make sure you follow or you are able to call within their time zone or their working hours. And that's why I love Hertz. The next one that we can use for rentals or search for rentals is Kayak. Kayak will show you the different vendors that have rental cars available in the specific country where your client is. For transfers, I have three go-to vendors. That's Connecto Transfers, Transfero, and Blacklane. Connecto Transfers and Transfero, they are very affordable transfers. Now, Blacklane is more on the VIP side of things. So they have chauffeurs, you can get limousines, you can get high-end cars via Blacklane. Connecto Transfers and Transfero are in the more affordable side. Last one would be, of course, Uber. In the US, I'm not sure if we experience it here in the Philippines, but in other countries, you can actually book Uber in advance. You already have a schedule of when they'll pick you up and drop you off. Now that I already have all of those information, I send out my recommendations to my client via Google Sheets or Notion Workspace. Now, my client loves using Notion, but if you're going to ask me, I prefer Google Sheets because I just like how it looks like. It's easier for me to make it more understandable. Sometimes creating a Notion itinerary is quite confusing for me. So I prefer Google Workspace or Google Sheets. But my client loves using Notion, so that's what I always use. So it's very important to also know how to use Notion for your clients. So whenever I send out list of recommendation for my clients, I always do it either the top three recommendations or top five recommendations if I really can put it down to top three. But I don't go lesser than three. So it's either three or five recommendations. Once they have made their choice as to the flight, the hotel, the restaurants, then I start creating the itinerary. Sometimes it takes days or weeks before my client decides. And sometimes he tells me, I don't like anything here, or she tells me, I don't like these restaurants, or I don't like any of these hotels. Then I'll have to start all over again and then send a new list of recommendations. So sometimes it's like that. If my client is going out of the country for, let's say, a month or 2 months, it usually takes us about 3 months to finalize an itinerary. So we always just go back and forth with hotels, especially restaurants. Restaurants takes a lot of time in finalizing. So we usually take around that time. So once you already have all of the things reserved, all of the flights ready, the hotels ready, then you start creating your itinerary. I have a go to website for an itinerary. Sometimes we need to work smart, even if we want to work hard. Sometimes working smarter is more efficient. So I always use Klarna Trips. It used to be Inspo Rock, but now it's already Klarna Trips. So it's just the same, they just changed the name. So you all you have to do in Klarna Trips is to input the dates your client is traveling, how many they are, the type of activities that they prefer, and then Klarna Trips will actually produce a whole itinerary for you with suggested hotels, with maps, with travel time, everything Klarna Trips will create for you. You can even export it into a PDF file, export it to the calendar. So Klarna Trips is very, very important. So make sure to play around with it. You can even also edit it with the already existing reservations that you have so that you can so that it will easily create maps for you. And then once you're done with creating your itinerary, whether through Notion, Google Sheets, or Klarna Trips, you have to transfer all of the bookings, the reservation to your client's calendar. Make sure that you know the correct time zone for each of the bookings so that you don't make any mistake in the timings of each of the activity for your client. If you want to know more about how to use the different features of Google Calendar so you don't make any mistakes, you can check out up here the link to my 3-part Google Calendar tutorial. Again, when transferring the bookings to your client's calendar, always triple check the time zone if it is correct. Now that you know what travel management is and how to search and book flights, websites that you should go to, then you might already be ready to become an executive virtual assistant and work permanently from home. If you want to learn more about the other tasks, tools, and skills on how to become an executive virtual assistant, I do have a free, I'll link it up here, a free 1 hour online course here on YouTube that you can definitely watch. If you still want more information and deep dive into how to become an executive virtual assistant, I do have a paid online course that you can enroll in. It's a lifetime access online course, self paced. There are 16 modules in that course and 16 hours worth of recorded video tutorials. We also have downloadable templates within that online course that you can use for yourself. So if you want to enroll, the link will be in the description down below. You can also follow me on all of my other social media handles such as Facebook page, Instagram, and TikTok. Everything again will be in the caption down below. If you also want to join my free community, I have a free community and learning center via NAS.io. The link will be in the description down below. Within that community, I have playlists and tutorials and other links and important documents that you can make use of. And as an executive virtual assistant, it will also consist of a roadmap of where to start on how to becoming a freelancer and an executive virtual assistant. And of course, if you want to learn more, then all you have to do is subscribe to my channel because I am making sure that I'm able to upload videos weekly for you on how to become an executive virtual assistant. Different topics such as travel management, tool tutorials, everything will be here if you want to succeed in freelancing or remote work. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, every important link that I have mentioned and more will be in the description down below. If you have topics that you want to request, All you have to do is comment in this video if you want to share your experiences in travel management as an executive virtual assistant, a freelancer, a general VA. Just comment it down below and let's talk in the comment section. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. This is Mia, your executive virtual assistant coach. If you want to watch more tutorials from my channel, all you have to do is check out this video right here and learn more about freelancing, remote work, and how to become an executive virtual assistant, because it definitely do pay off and you will definitely enjoy working from home or working anywhere that you want. Again, check out this video and of course subscribe to my channel.